Greg, we're about to start the show. You shouldn't start the show with a deep inhale through one of those giant nostrils of yours. Okay. You should, because we're about to start. And
breathe before.
You shouldn't fiddle with your microphone. Like, this is all going out already. You could put your headset on.
Drops the phone.
This is only going to get worse, right? He just learned how to turn his phone off. I turned it off for him. He's got a dumb phone. He does not have a smartphone. He insists on having the button at the bottom, so it looks like a very old iPhone. It's not in very good shape. And he had to finally turn it off because I threw it out of the room onto the sofa last week because he didn't know how to turn it down or turn it off.
A tad aggressive.
Childish temper tantrum by you.
No doubt.
He literally just got a new phone, but requested the one with the button, so they had to go back in the Apple store and wait, we still have these things? And then pulled out, I think, an iPhone 7 or something.
What's wrong with that?
So it's a new phone, but only your father buys a new old phone. Like you bought a phone.
He likes the 7.
I understand that, but he also likes not learning. He also likes not changing.
It takes about a day to adjust to not having the button.
He is aggressively, both of you are actually. You're both aggressively against learning.
Huh.
I still don't get email on this new phone.
Wow.
I can't figure that out. But I do on my PC. Or whatever
That's
it's
good.
called,
Yeah.
laptop.
Computer.
Yeah.
The way that this room ages is very poor. I am at the center of it. Tuesdays are the worst of it. I am worried about the other room too, though, because Mike Ryan every day, Jeremy and Jessica are saying something to him that makes him sound like a dad, and they just invented another generation this morning that I didn't even know existed.
What?
I thought, there's another generation. I'll get into that with you two in a second. But I am not used to our environment creating really good ideas. Yesterday you had one with Steph Curry on the $3 bill, inventing a $3 bill with Steph Curry, hands to his face, sleeping. I like that idea. And Jessica's got a great one today. I think everyone would get on board with Jessica's idea.
It's a pretty good idea.
What kind of laugh was that?
Do you want to tell? Do you want to tell Greg Cody your idea? Do you want to? Because I think both him and
Don't tell him.
Stugotz.
Save it for the
I'm
audience.
saving this for YouTube, Dano.
But this is the audience. We're
Wait,
talking to
what?
the audience right now.
I thought we were just getting to know each other.
News to Greg.
So you are just putting it. You're going to embargo it for later in the show. When I just told Greg how important it is that this part of the show he be paying attention. You're going to embargo the idea for later in the show.
You save the good stuff for when the cameras are rolling.
Yep.
Greg right now is looking around super confused. Are we on the air or are we not on the air? Do I have an iPhone 7 or do I have a rotary phone?
Dad, explain how we're on air right now. Explain it.
I mean, people are talking into mics. Somebody must be listening.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Give me that idea if it's that good.
It's a good idea. You're going to like the
When
idea.
the cameras are rolling.
But the cameras are not yet rolling. See, this is just an audio-only experience. This is our warm-up. This is our calisthenics before we go on a 2-hour.
Let's all stretch.
Do people actually know that we do this?
Which part?
The talking before YouTube. Is this just a little secret for the people that are pre-gaming and tailgating with us? Because we've never mentioned on main show that this is something that we're doing.
This is what I'd like to get better at. It's a Kornheiser trick. He did it at the advent of the internet. He was only on the radio, and then he would talk privately to his most unique audience during the breaks, in the shadows, in a place where you're not getting aggregated. People don't even know what the hell it is.
Right, but I think even the YouTube audience has us on mute until the cameras go on. I think that we've probably done this for 37 people total.
That's fine. And those 37 are my favorite inside jokesters who will say it to me in the street.
Really?
You're making, because
your top 37 listeners, huh?
Yes, our top 37 listeners. They're the most loyal on the most inside of the stupidest of the jokes. But yes, I'd like to do this in the shadows a little bit more before the show starts. But Greg Cody is confused. We're going to start the show, and he's going to be disoriented. That's the best Greg Cody. Welcome to Greg Cody Tuesday.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the passion. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the. Wake up, let out the sheets. We can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. Right guys, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Greg Cody, are you aware of what it is that Jeremy, this is a yes or no question, don't give away the answer. Are you aware of what Jeremy is doing today?
I asked him who he was.
Okay,
so I am aware now.
All right, you asked him, he told you, and then you now know who he's in a costume of. Stugotz, right. Do you know who Jeremy is dressed as today?
Tony Finau.
Welcome back, Jeremy. I hope that everybody is happy to have Jeremy back. I can't say it with a great deal of conviction. I suspect he will unleash an assortment of truly terrible puns here. Do you know, Stugotz, you want to take a second guess on who
So it's not Finau.
Who do you think Jeremy is dressed as today? Jeremy generally dresses better than this.
Jason Day.
Okay, so we're not going to get a good answer.
He does look like an unsuccessful PGA Tour player.
He does. Very unsuccessful. Right. Somebody they wouldn't let into the country club. Somebody who's been banned because he thinks he's as good as the other golfers, and they've already told him he's 20 strokes worse than they are. Jessica, you have a good idea for us where we are allowed. I know that you and the rest of us missed the Olympics already, and I know you have a lot of Olympic opinions that have not yet been given. But you want to now merge. You've got a great idea in August that merges the Olympics and football in a way that I believe Stugotz and Greg Cody will endorse. Let's find out together.
Bronze medal game for the third place winner of the NFL season. Yeah. The losers of the AFC and NFC championship games play each other for a bronze.
Could they be as happy as Jokic was winning a bronze? Now, these two are on record as saying it's worthless to win a bronze. Finishing in third place is for losers. You're just the second loser.
I'd rather see the worst two teams in the NFL play a game the week before the Super Bowl for the first pick in the NFL draft. That's just me.
But don't the staffs already get to coach in the Pro Bowl? How much more reward do they need?
It's not just reward. We need to ravage those human bodies just a little bit more for a game that matters even less than the Super Bowl. But if you put it after the Super Bowl, people will be more interested in it certainly than anything Pro Bowl related. If you put it before the Super Bowl, people will be a hell of a lot more interested than anything Super Bowl related. If you put the Super Bowl out 3 weeks and you play the third place game first.
Stugotz, you would watch a Lions-Ravens game last season for third place. I know you would watch it.
Yeah, because I bet on it. I mean, so I guess that's a good thing. Otherwise, I don't care who wins the game. Like, I don't care who the third best team in the NFL is.
Yeah, players wouldn't care either.
Right. I've heard a similar theory that you have a game going on there, but it's like the two worst teams in the NFL, and they actually play for the right to have the number one pick. The winner gets it, and that's a way to like avoid tanking.
Steve Martin, I mean.
Yeah.
That's a great
really?
idea.
I'll pay. I'm sorry, guys. By the way, this is a poncho. It's supposed to look oversized.
I just said it, and your response was good idea. I mean,
I don't know what just happened there.
So that's a fine for me then.
Yeah, it was super confusing.
Getting older. It's very clear to me. Is it Chappell-Roan or Chapel-Roan or Chappelle-Roan?
All right, you are going to have to go to the penalty box for that. I don't think that's a fine, or I don't think that's just a fine. I don't know why it is.
We've got a major penalty, 5 minutes, derailing.
I want to answer my question.
It's Chappell-Roan.
Jessica and Mike have made Jessica and Jeremy have made Mike very old this morning because they were talking about this video that Jessica described. What's the toilet video? What is it?
Are we really going to do this, Dan? I don't think you want to do this right now.
Well, I don't know what it is. I don't understand what's popular here. Look, if I don't understand it, Stugotz and Greg Cody are going to feel even older at what is a viral, stupid video as everyone in the information age tries to get eyeballs, and some stupid toilet video has now grabbed everyone 10 through 20 years old.
Skibbity toilet, Dan. Skibbity toilet. That's the big one for Gen Alpha. They love it.
Gen
Skibbity
Alpha.
toilet. Gen Z a little bit. Gen Alpha really loves it.
that's not how generations work.
Yes, it is.
No, that's way too soon to have another gen.
Started in 2010.
Why are you still here?
Because I think I'm necessary for this, honestly. Like, you guys, I'm old enough as it is. You guys responding to the viral video, like, I think I can help.
This is also a viral video from like 2 years ago. Which
Delayed.
Is the best
That's why it's
part.
great.
Delayed penalty.
Yeah, you guys got it in our zone.
No, I don't. But I don't want you here during this.
All right,
You
suit
need him
yourself.
here. You need him here.
I've got lines, but all right.
Awful. Terrible what we're watching.
You've got lines?
It's gonna haunt
I
my
was
dreams.
prepared for this after I have a huge
Lines.
issue. Have a huge issue, number one, with another. I don't know what the hell I'm watching is right now. There used to be gatekeepers when it came to viral videos. You used to have to earn it. Now all of a sudden, a girl says 4 words into a microphone and she's being interviewed by Bill Maher. This is bullshit. Bill Maher didn't interview the Grape Lady. He didn't interview Shoes, oh my God, Shoes, or Leave Britney Alone, or Chocolate Rain Guy.
What about Charlie? You bit me.
Charlie Bit Me, a
Whatever
legend.
happened to that kid?
Do you understand? If Charlie Bit Me happened today, he would have a brand and a Dogecoin. You kids have ruined everything. Gatekeepers are good things. It used to be a good thing to have to go to E-Bomb's World to see what was popular. Now, just you TikTok away and you got a T-shirt deal, and it's unfair. All right, I'll go serve my penalty.
All right.
The audience must be so confused. What happened this morning was Jeremy told us he came back from camp with a lot of Gen Alpha children.
Yeah, that's right.
And they taught him a lot of new phrases. And one of the phrases, which we'll get to in his top 5, sparked a conversation about this video that went viral on YouTube a couple years ago that somehow came into my algorithm not that long ago and is now getting a treatment from Michael Bay. They're going to turn it into a feature film. So then, of course, now this goes into the mainstream. And until now, probably the only people that have heard of this thing are people with young children or children themselves or the people, the campers at Jeremy's camp.
Yep.
Feature film.
And it really pissed off Mike Ryan to find out there was a Gen Alpha.
You don't, Gen Alpha, I'll get to that in a second, but you don't get a feature film because you go viral. There are steps in this process. You go viral, and then you go on Tosh.0 to do a web redemption. And if that goes viral, then we can start talking about Hollywood. You don't go straight to Michael Bay.
Michael Bay is top of the food chain. Why is Michael Bay interested in the stupidity of this video, and why is it that Jeremy is bringing in something 2 years old from 12-year-olds?
It's not 2 years old for them, Dan. It's 2 years old in terms of a video, but there is no phrase that I heard more than Skibbity Toilet, than Skibbity Toilet Riz, than Skibbity Riz, Ohio Riz, or just Skibbity Toilet on Ohio Riz.
I can't be the only one that thinks this sounds
Ohio
like
means
super
stupid.
right?
No, you're not the only one.
No, this
It sounds Ohio.
Is John Woo doing a movie on hide your kids, hide your wife?
This is appealing to the generation, and there will be a couple of all future generations are not going to know what cursive looks like, are not going to know how to write cursive, and all future generations are not going to need to know how to read, right? So this is the first of those generations grown up on the stupidity of how videos just sort of addict you and make your brain rot and your eyes glaze over, but you won't have to learn how to read.
I was a couple of generations early, huh?
You were. You're a visionary. You're a pioneer that way.
My daughter's still learning to read. That's still happening.
All
Like
right.
that.
But this is, am I wrong about this? This is, if we're going to create another generation already at 12 years old, that generation is going to be addicted to a phone smarter than the one Greg Cody brought in here, right?
Right.
It depends on what they're showing up on YouTube. Like, my daughter asked me, she just makes up words because she saw it in a Russian YouTube video, and she's like, "What's a nutria?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "That's the water in your stomach." I'm like, "I'll look that up." I don't think so.
Is Gen Alpha now a thing? Is that officially
that's
so?
born between 2010 and 2024. So literally, there's bar mitzvah boys out there who were part of Gen Alpha.
So we're giving it like a
B-boys.
hurricane name
Why
instead
are
of
they
a letter.
alpha and not beta? Because this is real beta energy. Why do they
Because
get to be alpha?
it goes from Z
Beta
to
energy.
Alpha.
I don't think so.
Why
I
can't
don't-
they just be 14? Why do they have to have a name?
You don't get to make
I
that
don't
up.
think they get to be a generation yet.
Wait, do generations get to name themselves? Because Tom Brokaw called his generation the greatest generation. I'm like, that's mighty convenient.
No, it was, though. My dad's generation.
The Brokaw
Yeah,
generation.
no, my
Yeah,
dad's
right.
generation was the greatest generation. There's no doubt.
You do have a point there.
It's true.
Is
Frank
Brokaw-
Sinatra.
Wait a minute. Is
Easier time,
Is
man.
Brokaw? Wait, how old
Tom Brokaw?
was? Question mark.
Wait, hold on. Brokaw's still with us, isn't he?
It's a question mark. I put a
Terrible
question
news
first.
today as I've passed away, according to Dan Le Batard.
He's 84.
Yeah.
So is he a
still with
different?
us,
He's not
so-
a different generation than Greg Cody.
It's the greatest generation.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
He's the greatest generation. I came after that. I'm
Cody,
the
you're a
original.
boomer, right?
What's my generation
Aren't you a
called?
baby boomer?
Am I a boomer?
I think you're a boomer.
I think I might have been 1 year too late to be a boomer.
I don't know how old you are.
What is the year difference between generations? What's the number? Is it? I've always thought of it as 20 years between generations, not 14.
So it's between 15 and 20 years usually. The greatest generation was actually born between 1901 and 1927. So Brokaw, that doesn't even apply to him. It's the generation before him.
Again, I just simply want to get this right. The reason it's a generation is because we're assuming that that you're having kids at 16, 17, 18. So therefore, the difference between the generations has to be 16, 17, 18 years, which would put Greg Cody in Brokaw's generation if he's within 14 years, possibly. Am I wrong? Do I have this incorrect? Are you saying that your dad's generation is the greatest generation when I think you might be saying your generation is the greatest generation?
Generations are separated by 21 years, so you know.
Well, they're all it's kind of all socially constructed to begin with, but baby boomers were the generation born after World War II during the baby boom when there was a humongous population
Right,
growth.
including me.
That would be Greg Cody.
Yeah, that's true. Brokaw was born prior to the boomers, which it makes him the greatest generation, along with my dad, Wild Bill Cody, and Frank Sinatra.
At first I thought you said Anne Frank.
And Frank was pretty good, too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
You owe $5 for coughing. You've been racking up fines, and you're not paying any of them. So you owe.
I gave you a $100 euro a few weeks ago.
You gave me a $10 euro,
You gave me
I
a
meant to
$10
write
euro.
another zero on it.
and then I passed it over to Jessica because she's been getting all of the fine money. You owe her about $45, so you can Venmo it to her because you got to start.
Venmo. Venmo.
You think he knows how to do that?
Venmo. I'll write her a check is what I'll do.
That boy.
Yeah, how
That
dare
boy.
her
I'll
know what to
money
do with
order.
it.
I'll
How
take
about
it.
that?
Hey,
I'll get a
mobile
money order from the
deposit.
bank.
Guys, I'm a millennial. I know how to deposit a check, all right?
Do you think if Don't Tase Me Bro happened today, Lin-Manuel Miranda would have to write a musical about it?
Do you have cash on you?
I got a lot of cash.
All right, give me. You owe for a bunch of coughing and an assortment of things. Yeah, and for like 3 weeks running, and for not paying any of your fines before this. I'm going to say $38, and you're getting off cheap.
You guys ever see that dude describe that leprechaun that he saw that one time? Now that deserves some eyes.
Jessica, I'm surprised they don't like your idea around here. They don't. Thank
I'm really
you.
sad. I mean, like, what was I know the players wouldn't be into it. Yeah, okay, we can
That's
talk
kind
about,
of a big deal, though.
talk about all
the
the-
players
all the
not wanting to
serious-
do it.
the
I mean, you're a
serious
free agent. Why would you play in that
logistical
game? I mean, you
But
get
like
injured.
from just a pure fanfic perspective, can we just go down the road? Like we don't have to bring all the actual reality.
No, but all you got to do is incentivize it. If none of the stuff about human bodies matters in the football we're watching, we can make a third place game and attach stakes to it somehow, and then everyone will get invested. The stakes just have to matter.
Why not a last place game? Because there are times, there will be years, Dan, where the first player in the draft is so valuable that more people will watch that game than the actual Super Bowl.
Okay, now that
I mean, you're playing for Caleb Williams.
Great idea.
That is for the fans, and that is just for the fans. But if you also made it for the players and worried at all about safety, what you could do, Jessica, is you can make the third place game, right? We were so excited. All of us were so excited. Look at how much these professional athletes care. Durant cares. Jokic cares. They care more about this than the pros. You got to put money on the table to make them care. You got to give them a few $1 million
Or stakes.
so that everyone else, put stake.
Right.
Look, fewer stakes than the Super Bowl game, but put stakes on it. Put
fillets, ribeyes, put all the steaks on the table.
flank.
Play for meat. No, what they should do is
this,
have the two teams with the two worst records play, and the winner of that game gets the overall number 1 draft pick.
Okay, get out.
That's what they should do.
All right, get out.
Then you've got stakes.
All right, get out,
Right?
Steve
Steve
Martin.
Martin.
You go
Yeah,
sit with
both
Mike
of you.
Ryan.
Yeah,
go
sit together.
go
You
sit
deserve
Mike
each other.
Ryan. Go
Right.
sit with
Yes.
Mike Ryan while you're out
And
there.
the winner
Yes,
gets
yes.
not only the number 1 draft pick, but a fine
Jesus.
marbled
Got a penalty,
ribeye.
5 minutes, major
Tomahawk.
Yes.
I just thought Stugotz would want to maybe screw around talking about 2020 Bills Packers with me, but apparently wait, we have to talk about all the serious ramifications of playing an extra game. Yeah, I agree with all of that. We're doing a thing here, guys.
I know we're doing a thing. I'm all for an extra game. I'm all for more football. I'm just presenting a better idea, in my opinion.
Let's
That's
do
all
both
I'm
of
saying.
those.
Right.
It all works.
Okay, Jessica, I'm sorry to do this to you, but you're not allowed to tell people that we're doing a thing. That's not something we do
reminding
on this
Stugotz.
show. So,
Major penalty, 5 minutes, ruining comedy.
Just me, you, Chris, and Jason Day.
all right, Raygun is what Jeremy is doing in the corner there. And now that you've made a couple
Raygun.
of jokes, can you please tell me what you think Raygun is? Because
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Raygun? I mean, I don't know, Dan.
See, this is a little unfair because the viral thing was not her name. You know what I mean?
No,
I
but
more
this-
just knew it by looking
no,
at her
but
than her
I don't
name.
think this is the thing with Stugotz. All right, I made fun of him.
Something in a Star Trek. I don't know.
I made fun of Stugotz yesterday because he pretended that something from the Olympics stirred him so much that he cared about sports and things again. And what I've been frustrated about the last 2 weeks with Stugotz is he wanted to talk about this Jordan Childs controversy, so he did 3 minutes of research. He said her name wrong, and then while everyone's talking about it, he whispers in my ear the song "Watching the Games" because he's watched them poorly, and he's got just very tangential information on everything that's happening here. And it's a little bit difficult to do a show this way with somebody like this when he knows about this much about things, and when he researches them, he sings me a song that interrupts what I'm saying.
Watching the games.
I appreciate it. He's trying, man.
What Jeremy is doing.
It's August.
What Jeremy is doing. Yes, it's August, but everybody really enjoyed the Olympics. Everybody was. I can't believe it. I don't blame you for being surprised by it. It's not something that has happened very recently in our lives. It's been a generation since people seem to care about the Olympics the way they cared about these. Stugotz, I did not imagine a scenario where America would gather around the television to watch sports because they need some sort of blessed relief of action and escapism all day. In this respect, Stugotz, for wherever it is that people have assigned bitterness to me because ESPN made a choice. ESPN made a very smart business choice to get all the politics out of there. And it wasn't politics. It was just journalists who were talking about race and serious socioeconomic things. But it wasn't politics, and it just ran everybody off. It's a good business decision to just, hey, America. In fact, their focus groups show them this. Man, the number of times I heard at the end there that, no, man, they just want SEC football. Get out of here with all the other stuff. NBC and Peacock just gave that to you for 2 weeks shortly after a presidential assassination attempt. And people are like, just give me sugar. Just give me cotton candy. Just let me escape over here for 2 weeks in the middle of summer while not a lot of other major stakes stuff is happening in sports. And give me stakes every day. All day, give it to me for 2 weeks. People went back to sports and genuflected before the blessed relief of, can you please just take me away from my real life for 2 weeks? Because things kind of suck everywhere.
People try to ruin it, too. They really tried. By mixing up deities and genders. They really tried to ruin this one, but none of it mattered. Nobody stopped watching. Fewer people congratulated Simone Biles. That's really the only thing that ended up happening, but not fewer people watching. It was actually wonderful, and it gave me hope.
I want to go back to a time. Many of you will not know the name Eddie the Eagle from the Olympics, but it was colossal, epic failure in skiing in the Winter Olympics. And he became a name that resonated more than most from that time 2 generations ago.
Ski jumping. Big difference.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes, forgive me. Ski jumping.
Watching the games.
Yes, excellent. He was. Last time he watched him was about when Eddie the Eagle was ski jumping. Yes.
Is that the Muppet?
Is that the Muppet?
No, it's Sam the Eagle. That looks like Anderson Cooper. That's Sam the Eagle.
Yeah.
Regardless, he was an epic failure. And Raygun, I'm wondering if from these Olympics, Raygun, the breaker, who lost 54-0 because she was a generation removed from when from the best athletes in breaking, the young athletes in breaking, and a lot of people thought she made a fool of herself, dancing poorly, doing a T-Rex, doing what I said yesterday was a 5-year-old, what they would do when they say, "Watch this, Daddy," just flopping around on the ground. Are we going to make a movie out of her because she's going to resonate more in 20 years than the other Olympians? Because we love success, but epic failure is also something that we love to laugh at.
Oh, she's 5 minutes away from an NFT, no doubt.
What I love is there's presently a conspiracy theory floating around about Raygun and the entire breaking competition at the Olympics, saying that, which is true, the group that
You out of breath?
Yeah, I've been dancing a lot.
From kangaroo
I'm exhausted.
dancing?
Yes.
Well, he's been
I've been breakdancing for 20 minutes.
He's been doing Raygun for 20 minutes. Yeah.
No, I'm just
You sound
really
like
exhausted.
Taylor around a microphone.
But the committee that decided to put breaking in the Olympics is actually a committee that organizes more ballroom dancing competitions. And apparently, originally the IOC was considering potentially putting ballroom dancing as the competition in the Olympics. And so there are conspiracy theories now that Raygun was sent by Australia to purposefully sabotage the breaking competition by going viral for being bad because Australia is more known for ballroom dancing than breakdancing. So they sent someone to make the competition look like a joke so that breaking will never be back in the Olympics and ballroom dancing can take over. That's the popular conspiracy
It was already
right now.
decided that it was going to be one and done before the Raygun
But they might
phenomenon.
lobby to bring it back.
Why? This thing was terrible. I know we mentioned this briefly yesterday, but breaking really under-delivered on everyone's hopes and expectations. We thought it would go viral, but it went viral for the wrong reasons. It
Well,
went
that's
viral
the point.
for
is
Raygun.
There were really good competitors as well. Like the best of the best were amazing in that competition.
I mean, I thought it was pretty whack. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. The music was really bad, and I think you need good music to go with good dancing. It just, none of it popped. It kind of, in theory, I like the idea. I'm all for like an Olympic Games of games that aren't conventional. Well, throw cornhole in there. That's all fun. This wasn't fun. It was kind of, you would flip to it and you would be bored really quickly because you need good music for this stuff to work. That's why if Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo had bad, like, royalty-free music, like, it would not be the sensation it became. Everyone knows the names Turbo and Ozone, right, Jess?
Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo is not something I expected to hear today. Thank you for bringing it to us.
Was it Turbo or Ozone that did the thing with the broom? Because that was dope.
Turbo.
What about Skibbity Toilet? Did you expect to hear that today?
On Skibbity.
If you freeze it, you can see the string on the broom, which kind of ruins the magic.
Greg Cody, I feel like you've got opinions here. There are things that you want to say.
Well, you know, I brought up Fat Man Pole Vault a couple of weeks ago, and everyone laughed at me. You need more weird things in the Olympics. You need silly events, you know, produce aisle shot put, for example, like on the Greg Cody Show.
Great
You got to
idea.
have ridiculous events. You got to have obese people. You got to have things that are unusual. Enough with good athletes. Come on.
That's him thinking he nailed the discount. He's watching the clock. Greg Cody's only interest in that first segment was getting a plug out on his podcast and the Produce Aisle Shot Put Olympic event that he and his son did. That, by the way, I want you guys, when I say that Greg Cody is against learning, okay, I was not trying to get him with a hard network out there. I gave him the show with 30 seconds left.
Yep.
And he was so proud of himself for noticing that he stopped thinking about how he was going to end the segment with something funny or good. He was just going to be proud after all these years that he walked us right up to the ending without thinking, oh, the point here is to be clever at the end and give people the punctuation. Instead, all he did was, instead of dismounting, come on, because he knew exactly where the clock was. But that time, I wasn't trying to trick him. If I was trying to trick him, I would have done it with 8 seconds left or 5 seconds left, not 30 seconds left.
Easy to say after the fact.
But this is the
Explaining
thing.
the show, Dan, like, is this? Should you be saying all
That's
of
like
this
the
to
biggest
the audience?
penalty that I've seen thus far.
All right.
5 minutes for
Really?
living comedy.
We've got a penalty, 5 minutes. Major asshole.
Fair, I didn't trigger that. You did.
Did he just call himself a major asshole?
He
He
did,
just
which
gave
is
himself a
like-
penalty for
it was
being a major asshole?
I think it's a little harsh.
It's a little harsh. Not inaccurate, but harsh.
What is going on with your Olympic Games with Christopher?
You know what? We're coming down to the wire. We've had 8 events. He's won 5. I've won 3.
Right.
And we've got 2 events next week. If I win them both, there will be a 1-event Olympic off.
Wow.
To see who wins the father-son Olympics. So I'm coming on big. I'm rallying, and we're going to be there. It's
The last episode was the shot put of produce items because because my dad is older than I am. We handicapped it by giving me a bigger item.
You got a watermelon?
So I got a watermelon and
Right.
he has a cantaloupe.
Right.
So tune in this week to see who can shot put.
You have to shot put a watermelon?
Yeah.
Are you going to do the full spin with like the footwork and everything?
You know, you're gonna have to find out. I think we just tweeted out the video though. If you want to watch
You
it.
can't shot put a watermelon. You can't do it.
Well,
did it.
you can.
Huh.
And the rule was you can't throw it. You know, you can't
Right.
granny
Right,
it,
a
That's why it
football.
was called
Right.
shot put.
It's not a javelin throw.
You
Right.
have to push it, heave it like a javelin.
We're familiar with
motion.
it. Yeah, we're familiar with
The
how you shot put.
javelin in the track and field events at the Olympics, by the way, I think this was the first time I've ever watched it because everything was on Peacock and you could just watch the track and field feed. They usually don't show that in prime time. So I was watching these Olympic javelin throwers for the first time. Did you guys see how they would like heave it before they got to the line and then fall forward onto their hands? Like they threw it so hard that they would like fall onto all fours. It was crazy.
Because they're not allowed to go past the line.
Yeah,
kinda
you
thing?
can't go past the line. So like some of them would like go up to the line and then like chuck it. and
You
then
can
some of
land
them-
past the line, right?
No.
No, that's
You
the
can't?
thing.
Oh,
Can't cross-
really?
can't
So if
cross
you
the
want
line
to
at
put your
all.
whole body into it, you have to release it from further away so you can give your space
like-
to land before the line.
like flying forward, then they'd land on their hands, and like the javelin would go psh, like all the way down a football field.
You know what shocked me
distance.
about the Anfield events? That if it's raining, they don't really suspend them.
No.
It's just another obstacle for these athletes to overcome,
Right.
which honestly seems really dangerous.
Yeah,
because
they
like the hammer throw in particular, it's a very slick surface, and you add water to it. Like
Right.
people can get seriously hurt doing this.
They're
stuff.
handling weapons out there.
Yes!
I mean, seriously.
What a weird
weapons.
event. Why are we throwing hammers?
Hammer throw and discus are probably the two scariest
Your
things
son
to
threw a
judge.
watermelon.
Well, but
Where do the judges stand?
Well, so they have the net, so I assume that if it's off to the side, it just goes into the net and it won't actually hit someone. But yeah, they're all the way out in the field. I also
What are they judging really? Because it's just like it's on tape measure guy, really.
well, they don't. I think it's electronic now for like long jump and triple jump is all done with like VAR.
Yeah.
I don't know discus and hammer throw and shot put, but Billy and I were talking about this last week. So the pole vaulters have to bring their own poles to the Olympics and to meets and stuff like that, and they're like insanely long and heavy, and some airlines don't let you fly with your pole. So you have to book certain airlines, and it's becoming like more and more expensive to pole vault now because you can't get your pole. Some people stash their poles like in Europe for all the European meets because they can't bring their poles overseas.
why aren't there collapsible poles like pool cues?
Probably because you don't want it to collapse like while you're pole vaulting. I
but it
would
wouldn't.
guess it's
You
like
lock
an
it in,
integrity
right.
thing.
Yeah, you screw it
Yeah.
like a pool
Dude,
cue.
Yeah.
when
I don't
someone
know.
shows up to the pool hall with one of those, get out of the way.
Yeah,
You're
seriously.
toast.
Are you?
You're toast.
Really?
If someone
Yeah.
assembles a pool cue in front of you, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what we just agreed to, I'm out of here.
also,
a shark.
nerd alert.
I'm not certain it's a shark. I mean, doesn't mean it doesn't guarantee you're good at pool because you bring your own cue.
It does. It does.
No, it doesn't guarantee. When you go to the bowling alley and you bring your own ball, it doesn't guarantee you're good at bowling.
But in pool, it does.
It's a bluff.
We put it on the poll. If you go to a pool hall and you assemble a cue right before your opponent, that person is going to win.
Okay.
The person that is assembling the cue wins every time.
I also want to put on
wins
the poll.
before the game starts.
Yes. Well, much of the game is mental.
Who looks more like a tool? Guy rolling in his bowling ball or a guy walking in with his briefcase with his pool stick?
Well, I can't make eye contact with the dude that's assembling the pool cue because he's already won the mental battle with me.
By the
you
way,
just hand them your money.
By the way, if you're walking into a bowling alley on league night with more than 2 bowling balls, get out of my alley. Get out of my league.
I have 3.
It is ridiculous.
I have a spare ball, and then I got my strike ball and my backup strike.
No, that's one ball too many.
Greg, do you use that little fan?
Actually,
ever?
does.
A lot of people do that.
So,
a lot of people at bowling, they have a little roby fan right at the table, and it's blowing on them the entire time.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's like that little fan that comes out through that conveyor belt.
You're talking about
I love
people,
that. Yeah, I always put
do
my
people
hands
do that
there.
Because I watched somebody try their hands there one time, and I'm like, that's what the pros do.
It's a power
It's
move.
like when tennis players blow on their fingers right before they serve.
Yes.
They're like,
It's a power move to put your hand over that
Why
thing,
are
even
your
if it
hands
doesn't do
sweating?
anything.
Bowling is not that exerting. I bowl.
says the guy who's not that good at bowling.
Wait,
pretty
Chris,
good.
you bring 3 balls to the alley?
I have a whole thing. I have a roller bag.
It's obnoxious.
I mean, what do you want
seriously.
I
from me?
bring 1 ball, then I use a house ball for my 10-pin spares.
Nice. If you guys tie, what's the deciding event? Have you figured that out?
We haven't yet. I've already come up with one event for next week. It's got to be vetted, but my event suggestion might be pool noodle javelin.
What?
Pool noodle javelin.
That seems very difficult. So many
This
outside
is the real
variables.
deal, man. Anybody can throw a shot put. Who can throw a cantaloupe?
You got to be careful. If you have your pool noodles lying around for a long time, snakes hide in those things.
Yep.
The more you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
If I were a
That's right,
snake, that's
yeah.
where I'd chill out.
It's
Are
like
you
a
kidding?
home. Yeah.
Inside the noodle hole?
Happens all the time in
It does.
Florida.
Yeah, I've read that actually.
Nice and snug.
And also, rats will eat a pool noodle. Yeah, I
place is
discovered that a
terrible.
couple of years ago. Rats will eat anything. They'll eat paper, cardboard, stuff like that. Probably, and rats would eat a cantaloupe, just like squirrels would eat mangoes.
Let's show Greg Cody throwing a cantaloupe on the side of his home.
This is a shot put.
This is the shot put. Yes, excuse me. I'm sorry to call it throwing because he's lined up like a pitcher there. And
There's no throwing.
And if you, yes, of course. So here is the video of Greg Cody doing the shot put, or perhaps it doesn't work, and we'll go to it another time.
Not right now.
Here it is.
Are you feeling confident?
I'm feeling confident-ish.
Hold on, let me get the video audience here. All right, so he's got to meet. The flag on the left is what
The
he's trying to
FPL
beat.
flags in the
About 9 yards away.
Gardner
Your
flag.
marker.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a throw. That wasn't a shot
That was
put.
a throw.
I
That
went
was
like
a
that.
throw.
I went
That's-
like this.
You did. You beat him, but that wasn't a shot put.
I went like this.
No, that's a throw.
No, it was not a
Extension.
throw.
Yeah.
That's why they have judges.
You are just like the Herculean people who do it in the Olympics.
Thank you.
You did throw it further than Chris did, though.
Damn right I
He
did.
pushed out a cantaloupe. Honorary mother.
Well, since we're spoiling it, we can now spoil everything. The watermelon that I threw exploded because my dad was like, we should do this 3 throws each. My first throw completely exploded my watermelon because, of course, I threw it
Who
20
could have
feet
seen
in the
that
air.
coming?
And in the video right before,
Gallagher.
I said, Dad, this is stupid. It's going to explode. He's like, no, best of 3 throws each.
And
it was-
here's the hidden prize. It turned out the watermelon turned out to have yellow meat in it, or flesh they call it. It was a yellow flesh watermelon. I didn't even know that existed. I thought all watermelons were red. Bring
you know-
back seeds in watermelons.
Did
by
you
the
know
way.
that there's
We
a
don't like
NASCAR
seedless
driver?
melons. What?
There's a NASCAR driver that's nicknamed the Watermelon Man
I did not know that.
because his
Really?
whole Ryan Blaney is like his whole thing is like when I win a race, I throw a watermelon, and that's why I'm called the Watermelon Man.
Oh, I like it. That's why I first fell in love with David Letterman. I was watching one of his shows for the first time, and he's up on a 6-story rooftop throwing watermelons on the sidewalk. I thought that was just brilliant.
I think I confused Ryan Blaney with Ross Chastain before all you gearheads get at me.
You're having a day, man. Yeah.
Put it on the poll, please. Go put the gearhead on in
car.
penalty. Put it on your head as a penalty because it seems heavy and unpleasant. You should know more about
Sorry,
racing
I didn't mean
than
to
you
confuse
do.
it with the Menards 12.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Did you know there was such a thing as a yellow flesh watermelon? Did you know that rats eat pool noodles? And have you ever found a snake in your pool noodle?
The yellow watermelon happens to be fairly common. Now, I will tell you this, and delicious, according to reports here. If I get a watermelon, open it up, and it's yellow inside, not eating.
I hear you.
No, not
that
having
was my
it.
first
Right.
reaction was to be repulsed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
To think it had rotted or something?
To think, what the hell is this? Because I thought I'm buying a watermelon. I thought they were only red.
The yellow is generally sweeter and has a honey-like taste to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, this is a misnomer. Bulls don't see red, including fighting bulls looking at a red cape. Because of an eye condition bulls have, they see red as a grayish yellow. So my first thought was, the watermelon explodes, and I'm like, what am I, a bull? I'm seeing a red watermelon, but I'm seeing yellow. I thought my eyesight had gone.
Bullseye.
Exactly.
I think just yesterday, or no, maybe it was last week on the show, we did say that bulls do indeed see red, and that's why it works for matadors. But what you're telling us is they see it as a different color. They don't see it as actual red.
Yeah.
That it's different than all the other colors, but they charge that because their eyesight is largely colorless.
Yes. For the color red, anyway, that's all I know about bull eyesight is that they're not seeing a red flag the way we would see a red cape.
But it's different. They are being distracted by the cape. It's
Yes.
not. What I'm asking you is, I guess, that it's not a red cape, but they're seeing it as a different color that attracts them.
Yes, apparently.
They're seeing it as yellowish gray, but apparently it's just the waving motion of the cape that bothers them. So theoretically,
It
could
can be any color?
Yeah.
I'm very confused by that.
All right,
I'm going to
well,
do more research.
All right,
now.
please do, because in the last 7 days we've given completely contradictory information. We said as a fact that bulls do indeed see red, and now you're saying it's impossible for them to see red. That is not good information. That is just straight misinformation
My
from our show
information was
on
good.
one of the sides.
We also did it last segment as well, where we said Tom Brokaw is from the Great Generation. He is not. He is a product of the Silent Generation.
Another important
He's
correction.
not very quiet, though, is he?
Well, let me ask you this question, Stugotz. I need a ruling around here. Jessica's getting rich off of fines. But I can imagine that because I said Tom Brokaw was past tense and put a question mark on it, that's a $50 fine. I asked it with a question mark.
Yeah.
I asked it with a question mark, but I asked it because I thought he was dead. So I'm going to need some sort of ruling here. I would assume that the audience is coming down on me saying that that's a $50 fine. We haven't had one of those in a while.
He's 84. He's still alive. When you do that with a question, Dan, it's $40. Okay?
Oh,
Okay.
really?
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I was going to say I'm willing to call it even because on my first day, I accused Andrew Lloyd Webber of being dead, which was really just foolish on my part because I knew he was alive. I was just very nervous. So we can just call it even. You keep your 50, I'll keep my 50.
It was on your first day? We didn't fine you on your first day?
No, you did, but it was all on Zoom, so no one was in the studio.
Most people think Weber's dead. He's got one of those colonial names. You know, anytime you have 3 words in your name,
You're right.
It makes you sound
I assume
like
you're dead, yes.
an old-timey kind
Is
of
he
person.
dead now?
No, he's super alive.
Yeah, he's
He's
super
like
alive.
still making Broadway shows.
But he
I
has
just
a
had
dead
one.
name.
Am I fined now $50 for asking?
It's 40.
Is he
Yes,
dead now?
that's
No,
40.
40. I said that.
Okay.
That's a fine for not getting the fine.
Not
I
even
mean,
anymore.
Well, we're changing the rules. As
You owe
we go along.
$140 now.
No, that's not.
If I were your attorney, Dan, I would argue on your behalf. I would find somebody on the face of the earth who's dead with the name Tom Brokaw, because there's somebody named Tom Brokaw who unfortunately passed away years ago, probably in Maine or New Hampshire.
Right.
Definitely. And find that person, quote his wife, saying, my beloved Tom Brokaw passed away in 1968, you're off the hook. Because on a technicality, you were right. somewhere Tom Brokaw is dead.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did just Google Tom Brokaw obituary. There are a few results.
Thank you. Thank me. I should get that $40.
So Carl Anthony Towns has a dead name?
No, because it's Carl with a K.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that's a modern Carl. You know.
I love this.
Right?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I mean,
You're
Carls
making the
with a
rules up.
C
So
are old-timey Carls. Carls with a K, they're happening. They're breakdancing.
Right,
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right about
yeah,
that.
Carl
Yes.
with a K, you know,
Yeah.
spinning on his head.
Totally different Carl.
just
Yeah.
okay. They're happening. They're breakdancing.
Yes.
That's okay. That's how we're doing that one.
Right.
I mean,
Because it's with a K.
yeah.
I don't understand how you're making the rules here. Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Right. Sounds like an old name. You know, not medieval old, but like colonial old.
But it's the Lloyd, right? Because if I said to you Andrew Webber, you wouldn't think it's old or colonial.
No, Andrew tends to be an old name. Andy is Andrew's son, you know, who doesn't go by Junior. But Andrew Lloyd
With a
Webber,
second,
I
right.
can see why Jess thought that was a dead celebrity.
Yeah, it's also the Britishness of it.
Yeah.
Makes it seem older,
That's
more
true.
esteemed.
Yeah, good point.
Thank you.
Guys, can you please get for me, the talkback's not working, can you get for me the American Ninja Warrior video, please? Because Greg Cody has said something, and this might be generational as well. I don't know what's happening here. I'm legitimately surprised, and I don't know the entirety of his opinion on this. He simply said today that American Ninja Warrior is sad.
Yeah.
He described it as sad, which is not something I've ever heard it described at. It seems to me like perfect sports television. It's just easy, mindless. You can watch for 24 minutes and you can root for people, and it's just super simple, smart television.
Yeah, emphasis on the mindless. What a juxtaposition of NBC going from showing the immensely high-rated, gorgeous grandeur of the Paris Olympics to last night. I'm still on NBC because of the Olympics. I turn on my TV, and it's this kind of crap happening. You know, back in the day, it was called an obstacle course. You know, we'd do that thing with the, you know, the monkey bar, and, you know, we'd do that, and it was in phys ed in school. Now, they're just televising it and putting a pool underneath it, so when you fall from the monkey bar, all of a sudden you're splashing in a pool, and there's cameras and lights. It's ridiculous. And these people, you know, I'm not saying they're not athletic, but they're doing such ridiculous events. You know, they're all trying to get famous. Look at me, Louis, and Billy Gill. I hate to say it, but he's an example, feeding into this whole Ninja Warrior mystique. These are not athletes, okay? What they're doing is not particularly difficult.
You've got to be shitting
No,
me.
they're all young. They've trained for it, but it's nonsensical what they're doing.
You have to be kidding me. You don't think American Ninja Warriors are athletes? Like, how can you say that with a straight face? I'm
watching somebody jump in a pool right now.
You could not do one.
That's a mean.
That was Amin El-Hassan, and you could not do one thing. You would be incapable of doing one obstacle.
You guys are a part of this whole scam. That's why you're defending it. Okay, I had forgotten that the Le Batard Show was in cahoots with American Ninja Warrior.
You tell them.
Before I started criticizing it. It's like once or twice I've done back in my day, making fun of a sponsor of the show. I don't mean to do it, but just sometimes it happens. In this case, I just think it's ridiculous that what we're watching right now, no offense, Mike, is a televised sport. It's absolutely
This is an unfair edit because it picks it up at step 3.
Mike is holding
It's all
on.
ass crack. It's Mike desperately holding on.
Watch this.
Oh, yeah,
I should also say I'm the only one of us that
that man that
Roy
did
went
that
through
last
that
night.
course
Yeah.
specifically, which was very difficult. Look at this. This one's a piece of cake, the one that Roy's doing right there. I got screwed on the course.
Greg Cody.
This is televised.
I just can't believe, though, that you would say that they're not athletes. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Are American Ninja Warriors athletes? Because, of course, they are. That shit is damn near impossible to do. In fact, I'd say I'd put a lot of football players and ask them to try and do some of that stuff, and basketball players, and they wouldn't be able to do any of it.
I think if they had one practice.
You're out of your mind.
They'd be able to do it. I'm with Greg
You're
on
not
that.
familiar with American Ninja Warrior? They often have athletes participate in this. And
You
they
think
don't
Tyreek
always
Hill's
fare
going to
well.
struggle with that?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
No, Dan.
Right, yes, you don't know what you're talking about.
Cheetah probably could do it.
Cheetah,
He would
right.
do way better than we did. Like,
Yeah.
he
Yes,
would,
of course he would do
Greatest
better. Wait a
athlete in
minute,
the
that's the
NFL.
standard?
No, I'm just saying he would get to like. I'm not saying he'd finish the course, but he would move along this course.
I disagree. Like, I couldn't disagree more with what you guys are saying here. These things are difficult, and you have to practice them. You think Tyreek Hill can just show up at American Ninja Warrior and finish the 10 obstacles? Are you nuts?
I trust his ability to do it rather than ours.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It was very clear we didn't get any practice runs. I
a
would have
glorified
appreciated maybe
obstacle
one.
Greg is right about the obstacle course, though. I mean, you have to like climb through some tires, do
Yeah.
it quickly. You jump over a little swamp.
Like
I
a
mean,
tough
that's
mudder.
how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the gymnasts have done well that they've had on American Ninja Warrior because that is a very like multi-disciplined sport, whereas like Tyreek Hill's just very speedy and can change direction quickly. The gymnasts, like they've got the core strength. You need the core strength.
That is a key component. What is your core discipline? I'm a Kempo black belt. Didn't help me.
Gymnasts, I would say, would fare better, but this is in keeping. I understand why Tyreek Hill, would think he's the best player in football, and I understand why Tyreek Hill would say just yesterday to Kate Adams, "I'd beat Noah Lyles in a race." No, you would not. You would not beat Noah Lyles.
Does he have
Lyles
COVID
in
or?
a-
Yeah, that's a
You
point.
would neither beat the healthy or the COVID Noah Lyles
Yeah.
in a race.
Yeah, Hill's got short legs. That's what people don't realize.
But that helps. Lower center of gravity. That's why Barry Sanders was so hard to tackle.
Yep.
That and all-world athletic ability.
That helps to not get tackled and also being made of bowling ball material. But I would say that what you see happening in that league right now, it's one of the reasons that Tyreek Hill stands out because his body can withstand the punishment is the receivers that are the best receivers are the ones that you see eat up 5 yards in a stride and a half. And you're like, oh, my God. Like, how does anything keep up with that? Because it's Usain Bolt. It's longer strides. It's Justin Jefferson. Like, you can't keep up with that because the strides are so long that they're eating up giant chunks of yardage in bursts of long legs or just a kind of speed that makes this is one of the things that they're paying in that sport now is CeeDee Lamb runs how? DK Metcalf runs how? Like, what do you mean that they can eat up that kind of yardage and a cornerback can't keep up with shorter legs?
Have you ever done a segment and wondered aloud, how did we get here? Dan's the only person speaking on behalf of athleticism right now. He's like vouching for long strides. And why are we all attacking him? Oh, wait, because he said Tyreek Hill wouldn't do well in American. I do disagree with that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he'd be good.
I just think I
Great.
don't. I just think finger strength. Like you.
I think he's got that.
Okay, but maybe
He looks like he's got them all.
Yeah.
maybe you're great at being able to do quickly. Like you're saying, finish it. I don't think he even finishes it. Honestly,
Oh,
I don't
come
think.
on.
I don't think most athletes can finish that course. I think you have to train for it.
I hope you go to Dolphins camp and you tell him this.
Yeah.
How tall is Tyreek Hill? Is he
He's like
5'9"?
5'9".
5'10"? Because
Yeah,
I don't
they
think Noah Lyles is much taller. I think they might be around the same height.
He was voted by his peers as the best football player in the league right now.
Right.
I trust him.
Well, if we're doing the height thing.
I miss the possession receiver. I mean, I miss the days of Phil McConkey. Wayne Corbett, Wes Welker. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, there aren't many. I don't think there's any in the NFL right now.
No, I mean Braxton Berrios. You have.
He's like a third wide receiver / punt returner, kick returner, utility guy. You know, he's not a true possession wide receiver.
I know the game we're playing here.
What do you
River
miss?
Craycraft.
Yes. Amendola. What are you missing there, Stugotz?
Danny
Amendola.
What are you, Welker? What are you missing?
I'm
there,
just looking at the
Stugotz?
top receivers in the NFL. I mean, they used to be. Listen,
Edelman. What are you missing?
you
What
had
is
your
it that
Randy
you're missing?
Mosses. What do you
Austin
mean? What am I
Collie.
missing? I mean,
What are you missing?
I want a receiver who averages 8.1 yards a catch.
Yeah.
That's a possession receiver.
I remember when Ninja Warrior was in Miami, they did stuff at FIU one time, and Cameron Wimbley ran the course. I did not know how he fared, so I just YouTubed it. He cleared it. That's Cameron Wimbley, pass rusher. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tyreek Hill does this.
Right.
He clears it.
Yeah, he would nail it.
to answer your question, Dan, I missed the white wide receiver.
At least we got it out there.
I said it.
Finally,
I mean,
finally.
Steve Largent,
Finally, we said it.
miss him.
Cooper Kupp was too good to be a possession receiver.
Way too good.
Yeah.
Yep, way too
He
good.
dropped off the face of the earth.
Thielen, he's possession.
He just got hurt. No, Thielen's not. I wouldn't call him a possession receiver.
He's certainly more possession than Cooper Kupp.
Well, he's
How
just
more
because he
touchdowns
plays
than,
in
like, anybody?
Carolina. He wasn't that when he was in Minnesota.
Anyway, to get back to the Ninja Warrior, if these guys are such good athletes,
This is the
Throw
new
your
and improved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
We are cooking up a classic interview for you in the DLS Throwback Kitchen. Enjoy this throwback chat with a man Stugotz loves to impersonate, celeb chef Guy Fieri.
Guy, thank you for joining us. Can you help us out and just end this once and for all? Sometimes I say it Fieri, sometimes I say it Fieri.
What are you most confident in it
Well,
being?
I think it's Guy Fieri.
I think it's Fieri as well.
Man, I don't know what to do with you guys. I mean, you can dress up like me, but you can't get the name right.
Well, what's the damn name?
It's Fieri. It's Fieri. See, in Italian, E-R-N-I is rolled. It's Fieri. It doesn't have a T in it. Everybody wants to put a T in it, but it's Fieri.
Well,
So, call me Guy. I'm not too hung up. He gets butchered so much. I don't really care.
All right, thank you. Are other chefs, are other people in the food industry, do they look down on you because they don't like that you've got a gimmick and that you're a man of the people?
Well, I don't know that I really have a gimmick. I don't know what that would be, but no. I mean, it's just you got people that like you, people that don't like you, and I don't really have a hang up with anybody. That's not the way I jive. You know, I own my restaurants. I do my shows. I do my stuff. So if anybody's got a problem, it's their problem.
You insulted him, man.
Did I?
A gimmick, yeah.
This hasn't started real well. He can't get the name right, and then he pops off. You know, so it's all right. So we'll get through this.
I mean, this is no gimmick. This guy is a great chef who has become very popular and has a TV show.
No, but come on, man. His look's
awesome.
But he doesn't look like other chefs.
You know, everybody's got their own look, their own style, their own way. You know, people ask me, "Did you get your bleached hair when you got on TV?" I said, "No, that mess was going on long before I was on TV."
Well, you had a mullet, right?
Oh, the rocker mullet, dude. I mean, who didn't back in the 80s and 90s? I mean, we were all. I mean, I don't know if you're a heavy metal guy, but you didn't have long hair, you weren't in.
I'm just a heavy guy. So what's the darkest thing you've ever done, sir? Have you done anything criminal? Anything criminal? Do you have a criminal past?
I think you cats need to start offering up some stuff. I think there's probably more dirt sitting there with you two, Dan, Stu. Let's go. Fire up. Give me a little return on something.
Well, you got to ask the right question, celebrity chef. You got to ask the right question.
Guy, who have you cooked for or hung out with where you've said to yourself, I can't believe I'm hanging out here with this person?
One of my superheroes is Jose Andres. I mean, he is the chef of chefs. So we went to his party over at SLS last night, and he was doing paella. And he wasn't just doing any paella. He did paella that had, wait for it, I mean, this is the best paella I've ever had in my life. Had morel mushrooms, foie gras, duck, and black truffles, all done in a paella that he made for, I think there was probably 500 people there. It was out of bounds. So when you get a chance to stand next to one of those guys and watch them cook or get involved with that, it's, you know, everybody has their, like, wow moment. Yeah, that's a pretty big wow moment. He's a great cat.
I'm no expert on fine food. Can you explain to us and the audience, like, what specifically he would be doing that would make him someone that you would be in awe of that you don't feel like you could do?
Jose Andres has an experience, coming from Spain and having been in the limelight. I mean, he had one of the number one cooking shows in Spain. He's had such an ability to gain so many different flavors and so much fantastic awareness of the flavors, a worldwide palate. Now, I have that. I mean, I have things that I really appreciate and things that I really like. But there's a difference. It's kind of like somebody playing music. I'm a jam band, and he's the Philharmonic. We're both making music. It's just, I think his depth and his awareness and his understanding and the time he's done it is just to a different level.
Couple of quick answers because we've got to get out of here. Just give us a quick answer to this.
Guy, I tell you today is your last day on Earth. What's the final meal tonight?
You know what? I think it's going to have to be something back to the childhood. I'm going to go pasta, really good pasta, and really good simple tomato sauce, but really made correctly.
Number one, first ballot, Hall of Famer, sports food.
I got to go nachos.
Yes.
Nice.
Did we just become best friends? That's the way you do that. That's it. That's the way you do that.
I answered this correctly.
Yes.
You know what? Nachos are the complete meal. You can sit there on your lap at the game, at home, whatever it is. You fortify it with whatever. But it's got to be good nachos done right. No soggy chips, no crappy cheese, and you got to have enough condiments. You got to hit it up with the goods.
Guy, thank you. We enjoyed that. Thank you, sir. We enjoyed it.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Nice guy.
I'm seeing some highlights up here of Mookie Betts hitting a home run during the Dodgers-Brewers game, and I read something yesterday about Mookie Betts refuses to stay at that Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee that is haunted. He stays apart from his teammates and everyone else. Stan Van Gundy told us the story how everybody would bleep with Patrick Ewing in that hotel. All the teammates and stuff would come knock on the door and then run away because Ewing was legitimately scared of the ghosts. Mookie Betts will not stay at the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee. He gets an Airbnb nearby, and all of his Dodgers teammates are staying there. That is funny, except if you're Mookie Betts.
Or Spooky Betts. I'm just saying. That should be his name. That kind of thing.
Vigorous swig
Drink the water.
coming. He undoes. He undoes it. Well, I see that you've undone the top of that. You got in with 2 words. You're pleased with yourself. Here, toast yourself.
You deserve a swig.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Usually I sip coffee because it's very hot.
Right.
This time I'm going to swig on your behalf.
Stugotz, credit to you. It was indeed Turbo that did the breakdance routine with the broom. It was very impressive off the top of your dome. Also, I just watched that during the break, and the rare duo, Turbo and Ozone, were the very clear leader. His name goes second in the duo's name. Is there another example of that?
Montana and Rice?
I was going to think like maybe Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer.
Where the star is the second name in a duo.
Star is different. Leader.
Yes.
Leader usually goes first because they lead. Like, you can cite an example where Sonny and Cher were a very famous duo. Cher was the star, but Sonny was a very clear leader.
The fact that you're mentioning Sonny and Cher made me think of something that my father said this weekend out of nowhere. He was asking me a lot of questions. You talk about the silent generation. You talk about Tom Brokaw's age. For some reason, my father wanted to talk about Sonny and Cher all weekend. And he's fascinated by the way Sonny died, because he's like, did you know how Sonny died? And I'm like, yeah, he had a skiing accident and he ran into a tree. And my father's like, that'll never happen to me. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. You will probably not die in a skiing accident because you're not going to be someone who skis. But then the next thing he says to me is, do you know what Sonny Bono's last words were? And I'm like, what? And he's like, who put that fucking tree there?
Too soon, number one, Poppy. And number 2, was he just setting you up for his own routine?
My father does not usually
talk to you about Sonny and Cher for 15 minutes to give you that terrible joke.
He was laughing through the joke before he said it, and I'm just looking at him like he was just delighted in the fact that someone had died in a way he never would because he's not a skier. That's what happened with my father this weekend. What just happened during the break with Stugotz, though, is as soon as I go to my wallet and pull out money for fines, he starts smelling the money. And so he asked me for money during the break, saying, let's get Will Levis for God Bless Football. He's like, I want to start paying I want to start paying Will Levis to be somebody. Are you going to have him replace Austin Eckler?
Well, no, I'd like to have Eckler as well, but Will Levis is someone who joined me and Billy at Radio Row during Super Bowl week last year, and he was fantastic. Does not take himself very seriously. Now, we have no idea if he's good. We have no idea if he's the long-term starter in Tennessee, but I do like his personality, and if he turns out to be a starting quarterback and a good starting quarterback, then we're on to something here with God Bless Football. And so Will Levis is a guy that I just happen to like, and he has shot a ridiculous new commercial.
I have not seen the quarterbacks do this with a sense of humor. And honest to God, it sort of reminds me of Dave Grohl having fun with music videos and saying music videos don't have to all be artistic. They can also be funny. Will Levis is doing a commercial for Hellman's here, and it's Hellman's as a perfume. Like, obviously disgusting, but he's turning the corporate sponsor into his sense of humor and saying, okay, I'll do a commercial for you as the NFL quarterback for Hellman's mayonnaise, but I'm going to do it sexy. I'm going to do this goop, this terrible goop that is
Whoa, relax.
Well, it's delicious.
Goop.
It's delicious goop, but it's not sexy. Cologne de mayonnaise is not something anyone is buying, but Will Levis is doing a commercial for the scent of mayo. Who wants to smell like mayo? That's what I usually smell like. It's not a scent people find sexy. Let's watch this.
They try to define you, but you are the ingredient to your own success. Luscious, eggy, smell like greatness. Will Levis, number 8, Parfum de mayonnaise.
That's great.
Not a lot of quarterbacks have made that commercial.
Bacon and eggs.
Got it right?
Eggs are the leader.
Eggs are the leader.
No,
Are they?
no,
But bacon's a star.
Eggs are the leader. Yeah. We're not saying the star. Mike is right. Bacon is the star.
Bacon is
Eggs are the
unquestionably
leader.
the star.
I won't have eggs without bacon. I will have bacon without eggs. I mean, I don't know who
But then
leads
it's not
who, but
breakfast.
well, it is for me.
Bacon's the alpha dog.
It's
Yeah.
almost like it's tough to do this with items that don't speak.
Why are you doing this, Jess, where you're saying eggs are the leader of bacon and eggs?
Because they are.
I don't. Okay, put it on the poll, please. Guillermo,
What
or
comes
Juju.
first, the bacon or the egg?
At Le Batard Show, who's the leader in bacon and eggs? Bacon or eggs?
Scooby-Doo and Shaggy.
It's called bacon and eggs.
And to bring it full circle,
Right.
the actor that played
Yes.
Ozone, Shabba-Doo.
When I order a bacon, egg, and cheese, I lead with the bacon. I never lead with the egg. It's never an egg, bacon, and cheese.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
That's a completely
Right.
different
If
conversation.
you're
We're not
getting
talking
a
about bacon, egg, and
BLT,
cheese.
you want more bacon. You don't want more lettuce.
Right.
You
Yes.
Give me an extra tomato.
You're
here,
naming
will you?
different
No.
things now. We're not talking
What
about
do we-
BLT.
why
It's
lettuce?
mayo.
It's
It's
a
mayo.
BLT.
Yes,
A
yeah.
BLT doesn't have egg in it.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
I would have a BLT with a little egg in it.
That's a belt.
A little fried egg on top.
Belt. I like it. Give
It's
me
a belt. It's a belt that can't be tightened.
Belt me.
What are you doing there with the lettuce? Did you confuse the lettuce and the eggs?
No. I was thinking of another example where the bacon is king. The bacon is almost always king. It's something that people love. Uncle Dick eats a whole pound of bacon at one sitting.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Delightful.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever eaten a pound of bacon in one sitting? Yes or no?
I've been really into BLTs lately. Probably the most underrated sandwich.
I love a BLT.
Oh, it's great.
Put a
Yeah.
little mayo on your BLT.
Oh, speaking of mayo. Exactly. A
It-
lot of mayo.
Is put it on the poll, Juju. Is BLT the most underrated sandwich? Yes or no?
That or a grilled cheese with bacon and tomato.
Now we're talking.
Delightful. Oh,
It's just a sandwich.
I had to research this one, but Salt and Peppa. I thought Peppa was the leader
No.
of this duo, but it turns out Salt
Yep.
founded the famous hip hop duo.
Well, Jessica said Scooby Doo and Shaggy. I don't. Are they a famous duo? Like, is that because Scooby Doo's the star there? Is he not? It's not
Yeah.
Shaggy who's the star, but Shaggy's the owner. Or Shaggy ostensibly, Scooby Doo is a cartoon dog that has all dog properties, right? He's got to have an owner.
Can a duo live inside a larger group? I guess Casey and JoJo. They were a part of
The
Jodeci.
Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
I mean, the name of the show is Scooby Doo.
He's the star, but who's
not
the
Shaggy.
leader? Right, it's not Shaggy. I think of Scooby Doo as the star, but Mike is saying he's trying to make a distinction between star and leader. They can be you can do that with our show. You could do that with Highly Questionable. Who's the star and who's the leader? You could do that here.
I mean, Shaggy was mainly the interpreter. Although it wasn't that hard. Scooby Doo didn't need an interpreter. You could he's saying zoinks.
I don't think he's part of the group without Shaggy, though. Like they need each other.
But people associate? If I threw out to the audience famous duos for all time, that Scooby Doo and Shaggy are coming in the top 1,000, because I don't think of them as two things that have to go together like peanut butter and jelly.
It is rare to have a duo breakout. Usually, it's in sync, where you have a breakout star. But for another group, essentially, to be born out of a group, now that's random.
With Scooby Doo, I always looked as Fred. I looked to Fred as the leader. He had the blonde hair. He drove the van all the time.
Yeah. And Social Construct at the time was white male with blonde hair, he's leader.
Well, that's why Sonny went ahead of Cher too, same time period. That is why Cher was not the star. It should have been Cher and Sonny. Sonny was hanging on for a ride there. He was not the talented one in that particular combination.
Chris just mentioned off mic that sometimes it's what sounds better. And that's true. I'm sure a lot of bands have broken up that way too. It's I understand that you're the founder, but it just sounds better this way.
Right. Tom and Jerry got it right, correct?
Jerry and Tom, I guess, could work if that was what it came out the gates with, but I'm with you. Tom and Jerry just feels right.
Well, no, you've got it right on Sonny and Cher, because Cher and Sonny doesn't work at all.
No, neither would Garfunkel and Simon.
Right.
It's just
totally.
doesn't fly.
Yep.
Yeah.
But how much of that is just because it's what you're used to? If we had heard it.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Of course.
Oates and Hall?
Okay.
No thanks.
No, thank you.
No. But it sounds like a lovely cereal.
I don't want a jelly and peanut butter sandwich. That sounds ridiculous. You would mock me if I said that. You'd think I have sandwich dyslexia.
Is peanut butter the leader there?
Yes.
I'm not so sure.
Yes.
That's what Jess said back here.
No,
I'm a big jelly guy.
It's got the stronger flavor profile out of the two.
Yeah.
Crunchy
What kind of
peanut
jelly
butter?
are we talking
if
about?
If I throw any kind of crunchy, if I put any kind of grape jelly on something, it's going to get overwhelmed by the crunchy peanut butter. The crunchy peanut butter dominates that situation. But that's why I don't understand what you're doing with eggs. I think bacon dominates eggs.
Mm-hmm.
But eggs are the leader.
No.
This is really hard when they're not speaking.
Eggs
when it's
are
a
a
non-speaking
bystander.
role,
Speaking to me.
Scooby-Doo doesn't speak. It's the same affliction that he's got
he
there.
does speak. Come on, you
just
Right.
That's speaking.
Everyone understands.
Come on, you don't need a dude high as a kite trying to translate. We understand him. He's a talking dog.
We've got Greg Cote in house on a Tuesday here, and he is a Miami Herald legend, one of the longest-standing journalists in the history of the newspaper. And I wanted to get into something Miami-related because I believe, Mike Ryan, that you will be offended by what Greg Cote thinks. I saw an annoying text string between you and Billy Corbin that ate up my phone's energy yesterday because Billy Corbin is pretending to not actively root against John Ruiz and anything NIL Miami related. So I didn't even read it because it was too long, but I will tell you, Mike Ryan, even though you are now an owner of Canes Insight and a correspondent and you are embedded in the program, Greg Cote does not believe that the University of Miami deserves its number 19 preseason ranking.
Well, that's not entirely true. I think they do. I wrote a column the other day predicting that they're going to be in the ACC championship game and in the playoff, in the college football playoff. I think they're one of the 12 best teams in the country. I think they have a chance to go 11-1. I think 10-2 is very, very doable. I am really high on UM, maybe too much so. The only caveat is that they tend to disappoint. The year before last, I think they were 14 preseason. The year before that, they were 16. We've been here before, right? And they have to win the opener in the Swamp. And the last time I looked, they're a narrow favorite. If they lose that, everything sags. The whole season sags, and it's like, here we go again. But I think Cam Ward is great. I think the running back they got, Martinez, is great. I think they're going to be super good. I'm curious what Mike thinks because I am super high on UM.
Before we get to Mike, man, did you nuke Dan's setup?
Can't think of something more opposite than how Dan set it up.
I think Greg's more bullish on them than I am.
I have this, in fairness to Dan, and I love you, Greg, I'm copied on the same email with your topics, and you're questioning whether number 19 is too high for the Canes.
I said, is Hurricanes number 19 preseason AP ranking too high?
You were just
now
asking
I'm
a question.
answering it.
Okay,
the
good.
answer is no.
You're answering your own question.
There was
Got
a question mark on the end of that.
I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize.
I mean, I'm posing a question. Now I'm providing an answer, and an emphatic answer with an exclamation point on the end of it.
You know what you're doing. My bad.
Yeah, not 3 exclamation points like my wife. All her emails, if she's effusive about something, it's got to have 3 exclamation points. 1 will do. But, I think the Canes are going to be really, really good.
1 exclamation point at the end of that?
You only need 1. I hate the 3 multiple exclamation points.
I get it already.
I like
right,
3.
right.
Got to really just pound your point home.
No.
Do you?
3.
Okay.
What if they're 3, but they're in separate sentences? Like, hey, it's great to hear from you. And then at the end, thanks.
No.
That I will go back and fix. If I put an exclamation point on the first sentence and then I think the second one, I'll go back and change that first sentence to a period. I'm like, you can't have 2 exclamation points.
And thanks should never have an exclamation point.
Really?
What?
Yeah. No. I don't think so.
I have to limit myself to 3 exclamation points per email. I don't want to seem too exuberant.
But Greg is right. Thanks on its own is enough.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't want you
Thanks.
yelling at me, thanks.
Yeah.
Without an exclamation, you're saying thanks. With an exclamation, you're saying thanks.
Yeah.
It could also be thanks.
I don't want to say thanks. I want to say thanks.
Thank you.
You know, it goes well. Thanks is its own emphasis. Like, you don't need anything at the end of it.
Do you see now why the meeting is important?
No. No, I don't. I was here before you were, by the way.
He was.
You were rolling out of bed there in the suite, and I'm here at 7:45, looking around, saying, "Where's our meeting?"
Yeah.
Yeah, here I'm ready.
He was actually saying, "Where's Dan?" I want to explain to him what I mean by too high, number 19 preseason rankings.
Yeah.
But you weren't here.
But the lesson here is next time somebody poses a question in their show topics, is number 19 too high for the Hurricanes? Doesn't mean they're saying it is. It means it's a talking point. I'm willing to discuss. I think they're going to be really, really good.
Yeah, you mentioned that. You always do with the local teams. I will tell you that one of the
except the Marlins,
the unique spaces that you occupy, and this is really funny and crazy and also true. Greg Cote, the last 2 years, has predicted a Miami Dolphins Super Bowl appearance. They have not won a playoff game. He feels like he's been right the last 2 years. That's hard to do. Because their offense has been good, he feels like his homerism has been rewarded. He has predicted Super Bowl each of the last 2 years. He has been flagrantly wrong. They have not won a single playoff game.
Right.
Still feels like he's right.
Mm-hmm.
to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I called the turnaround. I think they got to solve fizzling at the end of a season. You know, they start off good, and then they take a big giant crap in the last quarter of the season, and which is why the last 2 playoff games have been on the road in tough places to play. You got to get a home playoff game. Can't be playing in Kansas City in January. It's like absolutely ridiculous. I also overestimated the Chiefs. I thought when Tyreek left to come to Miami.
Underestimated the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think Kansas. I thought
underestimated. You overestimated the Chiefs.
I mean, overestimated. I thought
underestimated.
You underestimated the
You
Chiefs.
thought they were done when Tyreek Hill came to Miami.
Not done, but I thought they were done as this dynasty that's going to win 2 more Super Bowls in a row.
Sure.
Well, if you want to see those Miami Dolphins play in the Super Bowl, you could be a season ticket holder and get the first crack at it. Or what you could do is go to the secondary market.
Wow.
Download the Game Time app. Look, it's hard to come by. These tickets to this huge Gators Miami Hurricanes game, really difficult tickets to come by. Why don't you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. And I hope just a small part of our audience is using that promo code, because that would mean they've used Game Time plenty already, like I have. Terms apply. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Again, if you're listening to my voice and you're finally compelled to download Game Time, use that promo code DAN and get $20 off your first purchase.
Occasionally, we have some things that happen and break in the news, and it gets dated very quickly, and Greg Cote is only here once a week, so I have not yet heard his thoughts. Let's see if I can introduce this correctly on the FIU getting into a relationship with Pitbull in the naming of the stadium. I'm led to assume that Greg Cote is vigorously against this. He hates the idea. There is no merging between music, pop culture, and blessed football.
He just wrote down Pitbull Stadium with a period, so you're really guessing here.
Not an exclamation point.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, the better way to know what my opinions are, oddly enough, the columns I write do appear online. Like
not the meeting, right? Not the meeting. Not the meeting, but not the meeting.
7:45, he was there.
I have to subscribe to the Miami Herald.
That's correct.
Okay, just
Yeah,
not the
here's
meeting.
What you do: take out a loan and subscribe to the Miami Herald.
Right, but not the meeting.
Okay.
Not in the meeting before the show.
I think the Pitbull FIU alliance is great for both, especially for FIU. My first impression when I read about this business deal was I couldn't believe FIU wasn't paying Pitbull. I can't believe Pitbull is actually giving $1.2 million a year to FAU, because Pitbull if anything, he is
FIU.
demeaned by this relationship because FIU is associated with losing. For FIU, it's great. Pitbull Stadium is a great name for a stadium, and it raises the esteem of FIU football. I think it's wonderful for them. I don't see a negative in it, and it's also a declaration by FIU that, and Mike's going to laugh, they're not ready to concede the 305 to the University of Miami. Okay, FIU is a huge public university. In their branding, they're already saying things like "Welcome to the 305." They're calling themselves the 305's University. So they picture their vision is someday we're going to be huge. Now, granted, they need to start winning for any of that to take place.
They're 9-33 or something.
No, they've been terrible lately.
Do you think FIU can be a sleeping giant, though? To your point,
Yes.
if they have the right coach in there that galvanizes recruits and builds on that program,
Yes.
they're I think. I don't take offense to them, even though they don't have Miami in their name. Although I do think that when I was younger, there was always talk that they might become Miami State University one day because you don't really see any major programs with international in their name. But
Miami's not a state, though. I mean,
no,
I'm just saying it's Florida States. I mean,
I understand, but you can have Memphis. I'm wearing a Memphis poncho right now. They used to be Tennessee State University. They are a state school. You can be a state school and proudly boast a city.
Just weird.
But okay. But I do think that they can lay claim to being more Miami. Certainly with the Pitbull relationship, but they can lay claim to being more Miami than the University of Miami. I think if you look at the student body, the student body doesn't have a lot of locals. I mean, they may push back on that, but the student body at FIU certainly has a ton of locals.
Yeah.
Florida Prepaid. There's just so many. There's so many paths to get to that state school down here. So I think if they make smart decisions, they can certainly be in that mix. And I wouldn't be surprised if 10, 20 years down the line, and look, this is a school that the last time they went on a field against the University of Miami beat them. So I do think that this is a school with a high ceiling. I really do.
And the Pitbull Alliance is visionary, I think. I think it speaks to their high goals vis-a-vis the relationship in the 305 with UM.
Please stop doing that, Chris. I need you to.
It's very distracting.
I need you to stop that. It's annoying. It's bothering me. Please.
Hit it.
He said me.
I was even signaling to him.
You know a joke is obvious when Greg Cody's in on it and he's shouting at his son, go ahead and do it.
Hit it.
No, that's enough.
You're 0 for 2 on Cody setups today.
Seriously, never play it again, though.
Yeah, don't do that anymore. It's annoying. It's obviously annoying. I don't think that Pitbull Stadium is a great name for a stadium.
I think
the Pit.
That's better, and I'm guessing that's what they'll end up doing with it. They've announced that probably, but you said Pitbull Stadium is a great name for a stadium.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it conveys toughness. I mean, not just the celebrity of the musical artist, but the breed of dog is maligned, it's disrespected, it's criticized, it's the underdog, so to speak. Everybody wants to ban pit bulls. I think the Pitbull Stadium name is great. Just like I generally hate corporate names of stadiums. I loathe them. But Hard Rock is a great name for a football stadium, and I think Pitbull is as well.
I do love the tie-in with Florida International University and Mr. Worldwide. There's some great synergy there for FIU being like, yeah, we're the worldwide school of South Florida. We've got Mr. Worldwide representing us, and it's Pitbull.
Who are the people that you would be willing to concede anywhere in entertainment? Yes, that's a person that you need to pay to have their name on your stadium, because Greg is saying that this relationship is incorrect financially, that FIU should not be the lead or the alpha here, that Pitbull should not be paying them, that they should be paying Pitbull. I don't think that's the way that would work with many, but there probably are some, right? There's
Well,
if I made a Taylor Swift stadium, she's not going to have to pay for that, right?
To be technical about it, it's a gift. It's a donation, not unlike other buildings that are named on a university campus. He gives a gift to the university, gets his name on something.
Yeah. No, that's the way it works. And it's significant, though, that his name's on a football stadium, not a science building. You know what I mean? He's out front. Nothing is going to get more attention for both sides.
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
You guys know what that means. It's time to talk some Olympics. I'm sad. Are you guys sad the Olympics are done?
I am.
I mean,
devastated.
Football's here.
That is true.
That's true.
But the Olympics were great, and Jess has a top 5 Olympic athletes she learned about. And it's brought to you by Liquid IV. If hydrating were an Olympic sport, you'd win the gold. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Dan at checkout.
This is a sad top 5 to end the Olympics. These were my favorite athletes that I just found out about. So Noah Lyles, Sydney McLaughlin, Lavroni, Anna Cockrell, they don't count. These are just people that I learned about from hours of my eyes glued to my television.
Discovery, wonder, and awe. Some of the best things in sports when
Exactly.
you find new talents. Jeremy, are you going to find Jeremy distracting? He has been he's been dancing all show poorly. Can you do that outside? It's distracting.
Sure,
Jeremy.
Dano.
Can you just
gotcha.
get out?
Thank you.
Yes, it's annoying and distracting. Raygun, the Olympic breaker, I hope she's on your list, or she would qualify
We'll
for
see.
your list, I
certainly
suppose.
did not know who she was before the Olympics. We have one OLI, Gabe Medina, the Brazilian bronze medalist shortboard surfer, went viral in that photo of him above the wave with his surfboard. What a moment in these Olympics.
That seems like it was 7 months ago.
It really does. And so far away in Tahiti. I hope that if they do figure out surfing in LA 28, they're able to do it all locally so the athletes can actually stay in the Olympic Village, which I think is the plan.
Juju, can you put those photos next to each other in a poll that's photographic instead of just words and say Steph Curry's shot against Wemby or that one? Mike said the picture of Wemby and Steph Curry is the best sports photograph taken. I'd argue that the one of the surfer was even better.
Number 5, Yusuf Dikeç, the Turkish world champion sports shooter, 51-year-old. He medaled silver, but no one cared because he won a gold in our hearts at the 10-meter air pistol mixed team event.
The Turkish guy stole that. The
Turkish guy,
the 51-year-old guy with
I
the
also
hand
learned
in
his
his
name
jeans.
today. Number 4, Mondo Duplantis, the Swedish-American pole vaulting champion, world record holder, had a pole vault off with the American who came in silver. We all found out at the same time the Swedish guy was actually born in Lafayette, Louisiana. Really pissed off Greg and Stu, but he was a real winner at the pole vaulting event. And then he did the Turkish guy's celebration when he won, which was legendary.
Do you think that most people are still referring to these people, some of these people they're discovering, as the guy from that country or the woman from that country instead of by their name, correct?
I think Mondo's got an advantage that his name is so cool that
It's easy.
everyone knows it's Mondo now. And I'll not forget Mondo.
Yeah.
If I forget Mondo in 4 years, play this back to me.
Okay. You think that 4 years from now, all right, put it in the calendar, please. We're going to quiz.
4 months.
Well, because it was a few years ago that you said you would never forget a shot in a college basketball game that knocked off UConn. And I don't think you can name the teams, even though I just said one of them in the sentence.
Oh, man. Tennessee?
No.
Really?
You said you'd never forget that shot by that player. You'd never forget her name.
Yeah. Played UConn, right? It's big upsets.
I mentioned that, yeah.
Ooh. South Carolina.
There you go.
No,
Yeah.
It wasn't South Carolina.
Was it? I thought it
Oh,
was.
wow, that's a fine.
Mississippi
It
State.
was definitely Mississippi State.
What? The Rebels?
I thought it was South Carolina,
No,
too.
the
No.
Bulldogs.
Fine
I
for me.
Though I do have to issue an apology to famous HBCU Tennessee State. Memphis was once known as West Tennessee State, then later Memphis State. A lot of reincarnations there.
Okay, got it.
Tennessee State is also the Tigers, also blue and white, but not Memphis.
Got it.
A lot of corrections today.
Yeah.
There will be more.
However, it is very common for a city to be referred to as a state school. Fresno State, Boise State,
You're
Wichita
right.
State.
Yes.
Number 3, Raygun.
Oh, wow. Raygun makes the list. Congratulations.
She's got a PhD in cultural studies. She was the best breaker from Australia, allegedly. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories about if this was part of some sort of like social experiment that she will now be writing about in a future dissertation. Or she's just really bad and was exposed on a national scale, in which case I kind of feel bad for her. But either way, Legend. We will not forget Raygun.
Well, which was it, though? Because I thought she said she was going for something creative, that she was not trying to compete against young people against whom athletically she could not compete. I thought she would, but she lost 54-0. I thought she was doing, and she lost all 3 rounds, but I thought she was trying to do something artistic.
Dan, I don't know, but it was, we actually got to witness it live on Friday's show. We were reacting live to breaking as it was happening on TV, and everyone in the room, including that room, was like, this Australian woman's like not very good.
She's bad. And this is why gatekeepers are a good thing, because she would have to do a web redemption on Tosh.0. And then we decide whether or not she could be famous.
Whether she could be a generation, whether she's allowed to represent a generation.
Breaking Bad.
That is what she was doing.
Yeah. Very nice. Thanks.
Number 2, Steve Nedorosik, pommel horse guy, helped the U.S. end their USA men's gymnastics drought in medaling at the all-around.
She needs the
Olympics.
music.
The music.
This is like hearing.
I'm waiting.
It's like hearing Britney Spears a cappella.
Correct. Right. You're right.
Hey,
Those
leave
are
Britney
dancing
alone.
knives.
Good. Yeah.
Leave Britney alone.
Love that woman. Anyways, Greg claimed that she shouldn't be allowed to, or he shouldn't be allowed to celebrate, and the team shouldn't be allowed to celebrate their bronzes, but they did, and he will forever be known as pommel horse guy, and I miss him already.
And number 1, somebody beats pommel horse guy.
There was this player in the Olympics. Have you guys heard of Steph Curry? He was amazing. I have never heard of this guy
Dude,
before.
that guy could shoot.
He had 4
Unbelievable.
3-pointers in a row to beat France in the men's basketball final. Absolutely remarkable. What an athlete.
The way that you guys describe that is funny. Imagine if you tuned into France and they had someone shooting like Steph Curry that you'd never heard of.
Yeah.
You'd be like so confused.
By the way, French Ben Wallace has like a $2.5 million buyout from Real Madrid. So some NBA teams reportedly sniffing around that.
Well, his name is Yasabelli, and
I trust you.
I'm not sure. I was asking. It was with a question. It was with a question mark. It was Yasabelli, Yababelli.
No, it's Yabusele.
I was calling him French Ben Wallace the entire time at the bar. It's hard to hear.
What I noticed, it wasn't just the dunks that I was noticing. It's his lower body seems to be a lot larger than most lower bodies I've seen playing basketball. So it was a little confusing when I'm watching a player. I'm like, why isn't he in the league if he's dunking on LeBron?
Well, he might be.
Hey, that didn't happen.
Yeah, you guys said that wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and I thought it was every bit as bad. I've never seen LeBron postered like that by anybody in this country.
Wait, who said it wasn't bad?
No, they were telling me he was trying to get the charge, and it isn't what it looked like. This is what they were saying to me yesterday, and I'm like, I think it's every bit as bad as it looked, and I think it's the first time I've ever seen LeBron postered like that.
It only looks bad because you never see LeBron get postered, but I've seen worse.
I've seen it the last few years. You've seen it a few times the last few years because obviously that's the only place that his game has, to the eye, diminished is on defense, where he looks a little more lumbering.
And dunks get to live forever. It doesn't matter if it happens in a win or a loss. Sometimes all that people remember is the dunk. I remember when LeBron dunked over John Lucas. That was in a game that they lost. I believe Chris Bosh cried after that game, but we remember the dunk.
If the U.S. doesn't win this game, this 100% becomes the image of basketball in this tournament for the men's team. But obviously they won, so we can let it go.
We can remember the John Lucas dunk because LeBron jumped over an NBA player.
That's different.
Physically jumped over the entirety of his body in order to dunk.
It wasn't a human being during a game, not during like a dunk contest, during a game.
So did Vince Carter, right?
Part of what's memorable about that play to me is that none of us had ever heard of the guy dunking over him, and the guy dunking over him physically didn't look like the most athletic guy on the court. That's what shocked me about it.
You say that, though, and he didn't look like the most athletic guy on the court because it was Team USA on the other side. But what I'm telling you about what I noticed about that guy is his lower body is thicker than everyone else's lower body who was playing in the game. And so when he when he did that to LeBron, that is not something that I have seen before. And LeBron is somebody, believe it or not, at 39, oldest player in the league, who will still try and take charges, which he should not be doing. I will tell you that 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 is part of his retirement package.
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you that should be part of his retirement package. I believe he should be graced with this. The league should just tell him, look, just like the league changed all the rules for Tom Brady when he got hurt,
right.
as a thank you late in his career, thank you for being the oldest player in the league, LeBron, no longer are you to try and take any charges. You don't have to do that anymore.
Just in the regular season, though. Postseason is different,
No
right?
charges at any time.
What?
Nope, you are without, no. Stugotz, I don't know if you noticed, but early in his career, A-Rod was a 40-40 man. And they realized very early on, you know what? Home runs are really valuable. Stealing bases going to mess up your fingers and stuff. You should probably stop stealing bases. Just go ahead and hit the home runs.
Good for the stat line, though.
Yeah, and he did it the first few years, and then they're like, never mind about the stolen bases. We prefer when you take 4 of the bases against everybody's will than 1 of the bases very quickly, running and possibly injuring yourself.
Are stolen bases coming back, though?
Yes,
because,
they are.
yeah, Ellie Cruz has proven like what a commodity this could be, and now they got those oven mitts.
Yeah,
all right.
Ridiculous. Cartoon gloves. They elongate the finger by about 5 inches. Ridiculous.
All right.
He's fired up.
Yes.
It's like cartoon mitts. It's like what Mickey Mouse wears on his hands.
It's cheating.
Except the fingers are like elongated, like a demon from hell.
No, it doesn't look like a demon from hell. It just looks like somebody who's baking and has an oversized oven mitt.
Yeah, but the fingers, they're creepy. I dream about them. I wake up, sit bolt upright in my bed screaming.
Sleep paralysis demon.
He sleeps with his legs crossed. So I want you to imagine him sitting up bolt upright, like the Undertaker, sitting up bolt upright. But again, crisscross applesauce at the knees. Nobody sleeps like that, right? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you consistently sleep with your legs crisscross, apple cross?
It's truly creepy to stumble upon. Like
it's so nice.
I remember when I used to live at the house, he'd be on the couch sleeping this way. You know, it's like 12:30 at night, the TV's on, he's just on the couch, crisscross applesauce, laying down. It's jarring.
I sit that way watching TV. You know, I can still do it. You know, there's certain rituals I have in a physical nature that I continue to do all the time,
right?
Just so I can prove I can still do it.
Dan, I looked this up. Man, you were right. In 1990, basically, Alex Rodriguez stopped stealing bases. It's
well, but it's because it's stupid. Like, why would you do that? Don't do that anymore.
I'm sorry. In 1995, he essentially stopped stealing bases.
Jeremy is exhausted out there. He's been breaking for two.
It's not breaking. He's wedding dancing. I mean,
he is sort of wedding dancing with occasionally he joins he goes on the cardboard on the floor. Thank you to all of you who are crucifying me already for crisscross apple crossed. I did say that. Jeremy, can you please go to the board behind you there because yeah,
Dan, I got it.
Okay, that's a little bit much.
Sorry.
Okay, it's a little too breathy. A little. We need that to be.
Sorry, I feel like I'm gonna pass out a little.
Dial it down. I mean,
not surprisingly, let's zone in on that board that Jeremy has, and remember, Jeremy, we have an audio audience as well, so you're gonna have to describe or give some play-by-play of what's on that board.
You got it.
Jeremy, not surprisingly, has returned from vacation, and he is here after missing 2 weeks of the Olympics on air. He is desperate to have a microphone and explain to us why it is the Olympics were all about the Miami Heat, how the Olympics affected the Miami Heat. So can you please help me with what it is it says on that board? Please, a little less breathy. It's too much.
Okay. Sorry, one last inhale. All right. So, as all of you were paying attention to the Olympics, I was paying attention to the way that it would impact the Miami Heat in their future. So, Bam Adebayo is the centerpiece of that, obviously. Jimmy Butler, another guy with the Heat. Okay, so Bam Adebayo, he signed an extension where he has a player option for 2008 and 2029. We all know Jimmy Butler has a player option for next offseason. And Miami Heat only have 4 players who are under contract into the 27-28 season. Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, Pelly Larson, and Khalil Ware. So why does all of that matter? Well, there were several whales on this Team USA team alongside Bam Adebayo. So, Kevin Durant is the first. We've talked about Kevin Durant before. He and Bam spent a lot of time together during this offseason, posting selfies. Kevin Durant wearing a Florida Marlins hat. I mean, that's got to mean something, and it's definitely not just because he likes the teal color. but he is set to be a free agent in the 2026-27 season. Now, we all know the Phoenix Suns struggled last year. If they struggle again this year, could you see the Phoenix Suns blow it up and trade Devin Booker over to the Houston Rockets, who just acquired all of the Phoenix Suns picks, thus making Kevin Durant an older player in this league who needs to set up with the right role players, with the right stars alongside him to maximize his game? Maybe, just maybe, Kevin Durant ends up in Miami at this trade deadline. Again, I told you he'd be a free agent in 2026-27. Now, what does Steph Curry and LeBron James have to do with this? Well, after the Olympics, when LeBron was asked, hey, what's this team? What's this team? He called it the Avengers. Him, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. And could the Avengers want to give it one try together? And could they assemble around Bam Adebayo here in Miami as they're all free agents in that 2026-2027 offseason? Maybe, just maybe, as the salary cap skyrockets, 10% increase from $141 million to $170 million 2 years from now. But I don't necessarily think that one's going to happen. Might be too pie in the sky. Kevin Durant, realistic.
Say. That one's too much.
LeBron, maybe just a little too much. Maybe just a little too much.
Put Bronny in there, too. Put an asterisk over there and Bronny.
He'll get to play with Bronny this year. Let's just point that out. He'll get to play with Bronny.
Right,
that checks off the list. Then what's the next goal? Maybe the Avengers. But we have two other players here, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards. That's also the question. So if Kevin Durant ends up here in Miami, could we see the 3-year extension that we've talked about with Jimmy Butler buying out his next year player option and adding 2 years, and Kevin Durant getting an extension of a 1+1 after his free agency year, thus aligning their free agency the 2027-28 offseason? Maybe just potentially we see that with Anthony Davis signing his 3-year extension in LA with an opportunity to opt out in 2028. That would all line up to then sign a contract here in Miami to pair alongside Bam Adebayo, his big man. Yeah. And then Anthony Edwards, in the final year of his deal, requests a trade to Miami. Yeah. You end up with 3 years of Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Kevin Durant. And when Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant are gone, Anthony Davis and Anthony Edwards to create a second dynasty.
All right, go ahead and sit in the penalty box. Just for those of you,
you got Anthony Davis's body holding up quite a bit.
Yeah,
well, that's why financials will work, because he might not be worth all that much money by then.
He's very good at that. I mean, send him to the penalty box. He's very good at breaking that stuff down.
Make it happen, Pat.
He's very good at making sure that you know that the next Heat team will be just Team USA.
Did you guys see the picture of Kevin Durant going wee down the slide in Saint-Tropez?
Made me very happy.
It was cute.
Yeah, I want him to be happy. He generally doesn't give off happy all that much.
Did he literally say we?
I mean, look at the picture.
He doesn't give off we.
That's a we right
Actually,
there.
look, there's a scowl.
Hands are up.
I don't see we there.
Yeah.
Mike, you know what? You are right. That is a man. I've never seen a person on a water slide not be happy.
We'll say, though, he's in great shape.
Well,
for Kevin Durant, especially. Look at those abs. He's got the Paul Rudd shreds.
So you're surprised that an NBA player who's great is in great shape?
I'm surprised that Kevin Durant is that muscular. Yeah.
Same.
Anytime I see a basketball player shoeless, I just look at their big toe. That's all. I can't not look at it.
What?
Yeah,
that's all I was looking at in that photo.
They wreck the feet. It's just the feet. What those guys do for a living makes them deformed later, or not even later in life. As they head into their 30s, their feet are deformed because you can't keep doing that up and down like that without.
Except for Michael's, his are fine.
You think Michael Jordan's feet are fine?
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
I think his feet look fine.
Yep, they do look good.
I think, and Kevin Durant's had foot issues in the past. Good job.
Achilles, I mean.
Good job.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Does Kevin Durant scowl while riding down the water flume? At Le Batard Show. I do believe Kevin Durant is one of the great examples in my lifetime in sports of someone whose enjoyment has been ravaged by us having too much access to them. Ravaged by social media. I wonder if 10 or 20 years from now he will look back at this, the most glorious time of his life, and wonder to himself, man, did I need to be fighting everybody just because social media became popular while I was coming up, and I spent 15 years or 10 years just fighting everybody because these guys largely it's very hard for people who are competing at the top of greatness to stop and just enjoy what they're doing because they got to beat the next guy because they're a bunch of younger people who want their millions. And he's fended everybody off for a decade, and none of us think he's enjoyed it. Now, we all know he loves basketball, and we all know he loves competing. That part he loves. But it doesn't seem like it to any of us that anything outside of that is something he loves.
What's enjoyable about fending people off your entire career? What is enjoyable about that? He has not enjoyed his career.
Stugotz, no matter how crazy Trump has gotten, I was watching some of this thing with Musk yesterday. I'm like, how does any human being endure what it is that he is under and sleep at night when you've got to knock down democracy in order to keep your prison? You're a rich guy trying to avoid prison, and you got to knock down democracy. Like, won't that make a 70? Look at what age has done to this room. At 78, you're fighting everybody like that. That sounded like a crazy person yesterday. Something between delirium and dementia. Like, it just sounded like somebody who's yammering on talking points, because how the hell do you sleep at night?
I don't really know Kevin Durant's personal life enough to know like if he's happy or not, but like he seems like someone that cares a lot about basketball and has been very successful at it and has made a lot of money. So I don't think we can assume that he is like some very depressed guy just because he's tweeting like dunks on Dennis Schroeder after winning the gold medal. Like I think a lot of people actually find that pretty amusing and funny, and like proof that he can laugh at like some of the absurdity of NBA Twitter and some of the comments around him.
Jessica, I'm not assuming depression. I'm not making synonymous with depression a joylessness. I'm saying that I don't get joy from living off of him. I'm not making him sad. Just I don't.
You guys said he was sad going down the slide where it looked like a wee. Like you don't put your hands up on the slide if you're sad.
I didn't see a wee. There were a lot of false accusations. We chief among them, because that is not a face that is saying we. It might be saying yes in
the
French,
arms are saying
but
we.
it is not saying we.
The arms say we.
The arms are saying. Thank you, Greg. The arms are saying we.
I see with the arms like I see everyone else doing this.
Yeah,
so
but the face is saying get me off the slide.
Right.
I mean,
very much be a balance thing.
My argument was in seeing that is just that's the way his face is because he's been fighting the internet for 10 years. He can't. He's like a mascot at this point. He can't move his face. The face is in the position that it's in.
That is not up for debate. Kevin Durant has been fighting the internet for a decade, and I think that time frame is key because he's a man that's really struggled with the ramifications of making that decision to go to Golden State, because he was wildly popular because he wasn't LeBron in an era where not being LeBron had so much money and fame and adulation in it. Derrick Rose gets an MVP. Kevin Durant gets children's movies. Everyone loves Kevin Durant. And not unlike LeBron's decision, he joined a team that it felt like, hey, this is cheating the game a little bit.
He joined a team that didn't need him.
In the last 10 decades, I think have been an example of him still like reconciling with that decision, because his persona did change along with it, as did his social media behavior.
Yes, the last 10 years, I correct you just before the buzzards do on that. The thing with Kevin Durant, to me, that is the most fascinating thing about it, because we talked the other day about LeBron James conquering the social media age and somehow coming through it without some giant controversy, when you don't get a textbook for this. Like, I don't know whether you guys remember, but I remember when LeBron joined Twitter as part of that original team and not knowing what would come next. Imagine that you're Kevin Durant and you're as great as he is, which is, one of the 10 best players ever, 20 best players ever, wherever it is that you wish to put him. And you did the move to Golden State. You love basketball. Winning's fun. Basketball's fun. Competing is fun. You conquer everybody, and it blows you out after 4 years when I don't know what you thought you were signing up for, but it probably wasn't what you thought you were signing up for. You got the winning, but you still got Stugotz saying you didn't earn it.
He didn't get the credit.
But LeBron did get the credit. And LeBron seems like he enjoys the entirety of the experience.
LeBron didn't join the best team in the history of the NBA.
I mean,
kind of did.
I mean, he kind of made it as soon as as soon as he got here, he kind of they came out as if they were the best team in the NBA. That's how they came out. Before they played a game, that's what they did as 3 players.
Golden State won a championship before Kevin Durant got there with that core. They didn't need Kevin Durant.
I don't want to have that discussion with you again. I'm not.
They were the greatest team of all time in terms of wins.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm just saying whatever he thought he was getting in that transaction, he only got the championships. And it's obviously not enough because he then left fried, leaves Draymond Green, and is now on a water flume with all of us examining, hey, that looks like a permanent scowl.
It's not we.
Guys, come on. It's a we.
On Skibbity.